Hello YouTube, this time we're going to take a look at Quillfire from the Transformers Robots in Disguise Warrior Class line. Now, Quillfire is a pretty interesting design, and he did appear quite early on the show, but it's still cool to even see a new figure released for Quillfire. Quillfire, I think as of this recording, only has one other figure, not including repaints, and that was the one-step changer. I don't think they actually released them on other scales, so this is the only main line Quillfire that's available at this time. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the box as normal. The box shows his vehicle mode, which is some kind of muscle car, which kind of reminds me of Bulkhead from Prime and the way that the transformation is slightly. And obviously it has a picture of Quillfire up here, and he transforms in 7 steps, making it just a little bit less than Thunderhoof. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the figure directly now. The figure is a bit on the short side just because of the way that its design was, so it does work in terms of scale, I think, overall. But just keep in mind he is a bit on the kind of bulkier side rather than height. Articulation, he does suffer slightly from the ball-jointed shoulder problem, but his is a little bit far better due to the way that the range doesn't have that weird area where it kind of gets stuck in between the joint. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's just something I do not like about some Transformers that suffer from that problem. He does have outward shoulder movement as well, since the ball joint actually works really nicely to have a wide range of movement. He does have swivels in his arms, just about 90 degrees in bend, and that's pretty much it, since this isn't really articulation just because it is mainly transformation. What's also cool is that he actually has an articulated mouth. It's kind of hard to get into due to the parts like to flop around a bit, but it does open and close, so it's really nice. He also has waist articulation, which I really like to see in Transformers more often. He has outward hip movements, since they're on ball joints, swivels in the swivels in the leg, but as you can see, it doesn't go very far, so that's pretty much it. Bends in the knees, and feet can pivot just a bit. So that's pretty much it for articulation in the overall figure. Transformation is actually a little bit more involved than you see on Thunderhoof. Basically what you're going to do is take the gun, which actually we're going to take a look at the gun first before we go into transformation. His gun is actually pretty interesting looking, but unfortunately it is unpainted. Same thing with Thunderhoof's. So there isn't a whole lot of details you'll be able to see in just the standard color. Forgot to mention he does have another weapon, which is actually really cool since this is something that he used on the show. One of the quills in the back can be removed and used as some kind of dagger there, and he did use it to attack the Autobots in some episodes of the show, so it is cool that they actually kept that intact. To transform him, all you gotta do is put away the head, and it'll collapse and become the front of the car mode. Next, we're going to get these out of the way, so it'll be a little bit easier to move things around. And similar to Thunderhoof, we actually are going to need to turn the waist and peg these together. Next, we're going to push away the feet, so it looks like this. And then, as you can see, this is where it becomes a little bit closer to Bulkhead's transformation, because what you're going to do is take the back end of the car and it's going to peg into the back there, and this will slide over the cavity here, but this is where it gets a bit tricky, since you do need to move things into position, or else this will kind of get in the way in a lot of the transformation steps. This will slide down, and it will collapse like that. And you're going to peg this over, and as you can see, this is where it gets a little tricky, because what it happens is that this will actually slide over this little brown piece here, and it does get in the way a bit when you try to put away the side doors. I'm going to peg these in like that, and you hear it snap like there. Put away his hands, and these will actually peg in together. So this is where it gets a little tricky when you try to transform it, since it does involve a lot of pegs needing to be in specific positions in order to get it into place. You can see it's already starting to slightly become problematic here. Okay, I'm going to peg these in. Hopefully it won't take too much longer to actually fully transform this part of the vehicle. It becomes this kind of muscle car SUV type vehicle, and I don't think you can actually plug the gun anywhere else in his vehicle mode, at least on the top or anything. I haven't really seen any place where you can peg this in, but basically where this goes is that you kind of need to slide it into the cavity here, and it'll peg into place. So it just looks like that, and there we go. It's fully collapsed into its vehicle mode. So as you can see, it doesn't hinder the wheels all too much. Let me see what's causing that issue here. I think I need to slide it in just a little bit further in order to get the wheels secure. For some reason this back panel's giving me problems. Okay, there. So it rolls decent enough. There isn't major issues. I think this thing might actually be a little bit of hindrance. Let me see here. Interesting. So, turns out it looks like the vehicle mode does get hindered a slight bit due to the way that the gun pegs in. I haven't really figured out how to peg this in properly. It just looks like you did need to slide it in there. Let me see why it's not working. Okay, hopefully now it should be able to turn. There, okay. So now it's working with a lot better than it was before. So that's pretty much it for his vehicle mode. And his vehicle mode is a bit bland. I would like to see a little bit more colors in the design, but I guess it works in the disguise aspect this time around. So Decepticons usually don't have that good in terms of disguise. If they weren't like a plane or something and all that, a lot of the other car-like vehicles kind of look out of place already. Especially when you can actually do this, and that looks pretty funny actually. So it's kind of like those styles of muscle cars and stuff where they have like the deer heads and various other things, just in terms of design. So I guess that is pretty cool. Anyways, the overall aspect of the figure is really nice. He is a bit on the short side, but that's just due to the way that he is designed in general. He doesn't have as many problems, in my personal opinion, compared to Thunderhoof, but he does have a few problems here and there, and transformation is a bit finicky when you try to get it together, especially when you're putting in the car doors. He does have a pretty interesting transformation scheme regardless, and I think this figure is definitely a really nice figure in the overall grand scheme of things. He does have a pretty decent weapon, and he does have a really cool feature with the quill able to be removed and put on his hand like a dagger. So he does have a little bit more play value compared to other Transformers I've seen in the Robots in Disguise line. So I highly recommend picking this up along with Thunderhoof. Since as I mentioned in that video, it's really nice to see more Decepticons from the show being released in the Warrior class scale. So I highly recommend picking this up. For those who haven't watched my Thunderhoof video, I picked this up along with Thunderhoof at Hasbro Toy Shop, and I think as of this recording, they are still available on their website and on eBay, I think. That one I'm not too sure. But I highly recommend picking this up since these are pretty decent releases in the Warrior class scale for Robots in Disguise. And hopefully we'll see more unique Decepticons released in the Warrior class scale outside of Bisque and a few others that we've seen at the recent BotCon. Anyways, please comment, subscribe, and check out Hirotaku. Also, please check me out on Twitter under Darkon633, and please check down the other channels down below. I'll be back to bring more transfer reviews and more. But for now, I'll be seeing you YouTube. Bye.